Okay, this here is going to be our DX-P3525 heavy duty programmable sewing machine. So kind of just going to run through a few of the features we have here. From the main screen here, you'll have your switch off button. Right, this would be used anytime when you're shutting the machine down for the day. You want to hit switch off, and then you want to turn off the servo power using this switch here, and also the computer power, which would be in the back switch there. Right. There you also have settings in here, which these are mostly background settings, not really going to be utilized for for customer use. Mostly like engineer parameters and things like that. Right. So most of the time you just go straight into sewing. Right. Here you'll have a list of your sewing programs, which these are either we made them or made by the customer. In here on the right side, you'll see the actual program on the right hand side. In order to open up the sewing program, basically hit open here. Clamp will go down. The machine will home position to the program, which is shown on the screen. Right. Yep. Once home positions, all of your X, Y, Z sensors will all turn green, basically telling you the machine is ready to go. Right. Now you have a few features here on the screen. You have your needle cooling device, which you can switch on or off. Normally it's automatically on. But you also have an icon here. This is for threading your needle. So what that'll do is it'll bring your clamp down and also drop your presser foot. That way you can thread your needle from front to back. Right? Hit that, it'll bring your plates back up. And you have your speed icon here, which you can adjust your speed from 800, 600, pretty much depending on what you guys are sewing. Average speed, what we recommend is 800 and below, depending on your clamp, depending on your fixture. Right? If it's holding the material real tight, you can sew a little faster. But normally, when sewing real thick thread and pretty thick material, you normally want to be in between, probably 500 to 700 max. Right? You have a winding button here. So this one basically, you would choose your speed, and you have a start and stop button. Set your bobbin up here on the top. Make sure to thread it through correctly. And once you're ready, close the hatch there, and you can hit start. Automatically, machine will wind the bobbin. Once it's full, this flap here will come out, and basically you can stop the bobbin winder there, and you can adjust your speed using this slider. Right. You also have an option here to simulate the pattern. Right. So what I mean by simulate is trace over actual sewing. So if you go in here, hit that icon, machine will move over to the home position, and then you hit the play button here, and it'll simulate actually sewing. So from the start point there, it'll simulate sewing. If you press the start key again, you can go step by step, forward or back. Right? If you hit it again, it'll resume. You can also drop your plate or drop your foot to see if it's gonna hit on the clamp or anything like that. You want to check the distance from the top or the bottom. And then from there, that's pretty much your sewing interface, all the icons on the sewing screen here. But you also have a programming screen, which we'll get into the programming now just a little bit. And the password is 67976. Okay, so notice you'll have a lot more icons up here on top. You have a few that you'll use: firmware, copy pattern, log out, information. Really, you're not going to be utilizing. This is only for updates or or logging out the system, that way no one else can use the machine. You have the information of the machine, the version of the software and whatnot. And then also test here. This is more for troubleshooting, checking inputs and outputs of the machine. You can send signals to your air cylinder, motors and whatnot, make sure everything is working properly. But we went through the sewing tab here already. So the only other one would be utilizing here would be the programming. You have one here for parameter settings. This one is don't really change much in here. Normally once you have it set, you can leave it, right? This is if you want to use your two-step feature on your clamping. You want one to drop first and then the second one to drop. Or if you want to change some settings for your trimmer or for your cooling device here, you can turn it on or off, right? But once you have these set, normally no changes need to be made in here, right? So now we'll go into the programming. So for programming, you can always edit programs by selecting them and then hitting open, right? In this case, what we'll do is we'll make a new program, and I'll just name it test. All right, test. All right. You always get this window pop up, basically telling you the field size of the machine. Automatic trim before jump, automatic jump between objects. These are the standard settings here. All right. So once you're in the main screen here, first step is to select the type of line you want to create. So you have straight line, you have curved line, you have arc, circle, and point by point, right? Normally, we always use the straight line for anything that's like box X or W pattern or just a straight tack or whatever, right? So first step is you choose your line between whether it's straight, curve, or arc. You can use an arc by 3 points and whatnot. But for basic programming, we'll go line, and then we'll select our stitch length. Stitch length is there to the right of the line. You select stitch length. We can put in here, I don't know, I want it to be 4.5 millimeters, and maximum speed. In here, I want to put 700, right? Okay, so 700 is maximum speed. Stitch length 4.5. Now I'm ready to start my design. So press this button here. Machine will home position. All right. Now we'll choose our starting position. So depending on where you want to start on the machine, right? So as of now, it's starting in the center, right? So if I wanted to start my design or my sewing program to start in the center, you can see the red dot here. I can hit add point, and that'll be my starting position. Or I can move this red dot anywhere on the clamp, depending on where I want to start. For example, I put in here 5. It'll change the X and Y to 5. You can also go in here and manually change them. If you want, to move 7 or 12 or 15 millimeters, you can also put that in there as well. In this case, I'll just do 5, and I'll move it over, 25 millimeters and down 25 millimeters. So 5 times, it'll move down, right? Now, I want to start creating my design. So this is going to be my first point. So I'm going to add point, and that's going to be my home position now. So anytime I start the program, it's going to start here. Now from here, I want to continue my design. So, I'd say on the X, I want to go 40 millimeters. On the Y, I want to go 40 millimeters. So I want to do a 40 by 40 box, right? So I'll put 40 and 40 in here. I got my first point. I'll go across 40, add a point, up 40, add a point, across 40, add a point, down 40, add a point, and then I'm gonna create my box here. So I'll go diagonal 40, add a point, down, add a point, diagonal this way, add a point, and then I can finish across the top, add a point, right? And then close. So here I have my program. Basically, it's ready to go. Last step would be to create or to add the trim function to it. So you select the trim, automatically it will trim, and then you can also add a back tack if needed. Back tack is to secure your stitch or make a knot at the end, right? So it basically you can insert at the first stitch and the last stitch, or both. Normally you want to hit both, and simple would be a single back tack, double would be a double back tack. Here you'll choose your speed for the back tack. Normally we recommend it to be around 300 to 200, and then you select the amount of stitches here. So normally we recommend 3 to 5, and here we'll put 3. Hit OK. Automatically it'll change your start and end position. And then the last step would be to save the program here, and then we can go directly into the sewing here. Or if you want to go into simulation, you can go here as well. Now there's a few editing tools as well that we can use. Say you went to simulation and for some reason the program needs to be moved, or it's not the right dimensions. We can make a few changes. In here you have a few icons up here on the top toolbar, right? First one here is to import a DXF. You can also import DXF files, and then just change stitch length, or change certain properties of the lines as well. You can import images using this icon, right? You also have eraser here to erase the programs that you messed up. You want to make a different size or different dimensions. You can erase the design using that icon. This one here is used to recalculate stitches, to change stitches and whatnot. You can also, if you go into edit object, you can select the object or the line, and you have the option here to see the properties of the pattern. It'll show you the stitch count, the stitch length, the maximum sewing speed, and so on. You also have option to create a line of symmetry here. You can extend one line if you need to. You can change the arcs of lines. You can change the distance between points. You can move a certain line, or give it an offset, I'm sorry. Erase as well, lines. And then these two are used to move the object. One is used to move it manually, right? So you can click and drag and place it wherever you like. Second would be, if you know the exact distance you want to move it, you can say, okay, it's 10 millimeters to the right and 10 millimeters up. I move it 10 to the right, 10 up. And now this centers with my clamp, and I think I should be fine. So then we can go in here and just resave, save, and then go back into our sewing, test it, and go on from there. If we still need to move it, say 1 or 2 millimeters, we can come back in here. I'll go edit object and go into the move, or sorry, this one here, and then go in there and put 1 millimeter. I need to move 1 millimeter up, 1 millimeter to the right, and close. Resave, and there it is. Essentially, these are the main tools, right? Basic settings or basic tools that you would utilize on the machine. Anything more advanced, we can get into as well. But for the most part, for box Xing, sewing on webbing, straps, things like that, this gets you through 99% of what you need. On the machine itself, you have a sight glass here for your oil. You want to make sure that's full as well. And here you have a sight glass as well. From the bird's eye view here, you can see a sight glass inside. All right. Other oiling spots would be these red marks here. You got one here, and one here. Normally once a drop a day is more than enough, right? You have a deposit here in the bottom of oil, which once it's full you want to throw it away, right? Also, for your rail system here, you want to maintain this area clean. Probably clean it once a month or so, and reapply a white lithium grease on there. And that's really it. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to just give us a call. We'll be happy to help you guys work through, learning the machine and the features it has.